Tonight for embattled Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard. The law firm representing Henyard and the village of Dalton in a slew of lawsuits is asking to withdraw from those cases.
A Cook County court has reversed some of Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard's decisions. Ruled Henyard's appointment of Michael Smith as executive assistant was not valid. The special counsel appointment was also invalidated.
In a startling revelation that has sent shockwaves across Dalton and beyond, a prominent attorney has reportedly unveiled footage allegedly showing Mayor Tiffany Henyard engaging in blackmail tactics against board members. The explosive video, which quickly went viral, appears to reveal a troubling pattern of manipulation orchestrated by Henyard to solidify her hold on power. The footage, released by a local lawyer representing a group of whistleblowers, purportedly depicts Henyard in a private meeting with several board members. In the recording, Henyard is alleged to have threatened to expose personal information about the board members unless they aligned with her agenda. The lawyer, whose identity remains undisclosed for security reasons, described the footage as evidence of a severe abuse of power. "This is a blatant misuse of authority," the attorney stated. Mayor Henyard has violated both ethical and legal boundaries by resorting to blackmail to manipulate public officials. "This isn't just a breach of the law, it's a betrayal of the trust placed in her by the residents of Dalton." The lawyer also confirmed that the footage has been submitted to state and federal authorities for further investigation. The release of the footage has ignited widespread outrage among Dalton residents, many of whom have long expressed dissatisfaction with Henyard's leadership. Within hours of the video's publication, protests erupted outside Dalton City Hall, with demonstrators demanding Henyard's immediate resignation. Local activist Sarah Jameson declared, "This is beyond unacceptable. If she's willing to blackmail board members, what else is she capable of? She must be removed from office immediately." Meanwhile, Henyard is reportedly in a state of panic following a stern warning from a judge during her court appearance last Thursday. She faced charges related to unauthorized appointments, including the controversial selection of Ron Beebe Sr., her former political opponent in the 2021 mayoral election, as the police chief. Last month, a judge issued a temporary restraining order barring Henyard from making appointments without prior trustee approval, warning her that any violations could result in contempt charges. However, the court stopped short of holding her in contempt at that time. Henyard, who has become one of the most polarizing mayors in recent history, has faced numerous allegations of financial mismanagement. Mounting evidence now suggests these claims may hold more weight than previously believed. Her tenure has been marked by controversy, and this latest scandal further intensifies scrutiny of her leadership. Adding to the drama, the Dalton Village Board enlisted former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot to review Henyard's financial practices. Lightfoot's investigation uncovered alarming signs of fiscal mismanagement, revealing that Dalton's general fund, which stood at $5.6 million in April 2022, had plunged to a staggering $365 million deficit by May 2024. She also discovered instances of Henyard reportedly using the village's credit card for personal expenses, including purchases on Amazon, Target, and other retailers. Henyard is also accused of using public funds for personal benefit, including $56,000 for improvements to her luxury home and a driveway for her mother. The FBI has since visited Dalton, presenting evidence of alleged corruption and demanding records tied to Henyard's activities. This included personnel and disciplinary files for 29 employees and documentation of financial transactions linked to her chief aide. The controversy surrounding Henyard, once celebrated as the youngest and first female mayor of Dalton, continues to grow. As investigations unfold, the so-called super-mayor has reportedly disappeared from the public eye, leaving her administration and the residents of Dalton in turmoil. Her career trajectory took another significant turn in 2022, when she succeeded the late Frank Zuccarelli as supervisor of Thornton Township. Initially, her appointment inspired optimism and high expectations. However, her leadership soon veered off course as allegations of corruption and mismanagement surfaced, overshadowing what could have been a promising political career and leaving her legacy steeped in controversy. Tiffany's name remains in the spotlight, though not for reasons she might desire. Reports have emerged of her misuse of taxpayer money, including extravagant spending on private jet charters, personal security entourages, and even payments for her hairstylist. One particularly striking example of unchecked expenses occurred during a lavish 5-day trip to Austin in July 2023. Accompanied by her chief assistant, Keith Freeman, and 3 town officials, Tiffany's group incurred over $20,000 in expenses, all funded by Dalton taxpayers. These costs included $1,290 for accommodations at the upscale Fairmont Austin Hotel, $389 at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, $500 on sports riding gear, and $33 at a local Walgreens. The organizers have yet to clarify the trip's purpose, stating only that it was related to attending a conference. Trustee Jason House has since exposed a recurring pattern of extravagant trips involving village employees, even as Dalton faces a multi-million-dollar debt. Motivated by these issues, House has declared his candidacy for mayor in 2025, citing the current mayor's leadership as a contributing factor to the town's financial struggles. Many businesses, including Lawrence Gardner's trucking company, have shut down due to unresolved licensing disputes. Gardner's operation has been idle since January 2023, despite a favorable ruling in his lawsuit against the village, which accused him of illegally selling alcohol at an event. While the FBI has not confirmed an investigation into the mayor, Gardner claims he has been in contact with federal agents for several months. His frustrations with Mayor Tiffany Henyard's policies echo those of many local business owners and residents. Multiple businesses, including his own, were reportedly asked to contribute $3,500 to the village after Henyard took office. Dalton trustee Kiana Belcher has voiced deep concerns about significant financial mismanagement under Henyard's leadership, emphasizing the need for transparency to better understand the allocation of funds. Similarly, Bert Old, a member of the Dalton Board of Trustees Legislative Council, expressed shock over the loss of 6 police vehicles, equating it to the loss of officers. He criticized Henyard's decision to prioritize payments for her personal security detail over essential resources like patrol cars. These actions have sparked widespread public outrage.
Allegations you just read in those complaints with the Illinois Department of Human Rights.
I'm appalled. I'm literally sitting here shaking because I cannot believe that something like this has taken place.
A recent rally in Dalton and Thornton Township saw residents demanding Henyard's resignation and a comprehensive investigation into her financial activities. The demonstration, titled "Take Our Township Back," highlighted growing community frustration over what many perceive as a lack of transparency, accountability, and clarity regarding the use of taxpayer dollars. Residents have also pointed out that Henyard removed all other township officials from authorizing expenditures, making herself the sole signatory for financial decisions. This move has been viewed by many as a calculated strategy to consolidate control. Henyard has fiercely denied most allegations, claiming to have evidence to justify her decisions, though she has reluctantly conceded to certain charges when denial was no longer possible. For many in the township, her apparent disregard for accountability is alarming. In March 2024, she faced intense scrutiny after being accused of embezzling $67,000 in taxpayer funds for personal travel expenses. In response, the Dalton Board initiated an investigation, requesting financial records and involving the FBI to clarify the situation. Instead of addressing these claims, Henyard's defiance and lack of accountability have further damaged her reputation. The scandals surrounding Henyard include misuse of taxpayer dollars, extravagant spending on out-of-town trips, and hundreds of thousands of dollars in police overtime for her personal security detail, all funded by public employees. "Our village, our community, and I are under siege," Henyard said during a recent board meeting, accusing board members, whom she referred to as a boys' club, of obstructing her efforts and targeting her personally. She issued a veto, framing the situation as a biased attack on her character. At another meeting, she acknowledged a $2 million deficit at Village Hall, though board members later revealed that the financial shortfall was far greater than the figure she reported. Former trustee Edward Steve pointed out that while Henyard might blame others for Dalton's current challenges, she must ultimately take responsibility for her own actions. In the ongoing crisis, Tiffany has faced accusations of using her influence to suppress dissent, allegedly targeting individuals who criticized her. One prominent example is former village trustee Valeria Stubbs, who encountered severe backlash after publicly condemning Tiffany. Stubbs also accused Tiffany's ally, Henyard, of forging alliances with the police department to ensure complaints against Tiffany were ignored. Tensions escalated when Henyard's former assistant revealed she was mistreated by a trustee on Henyard's board. After reporting the incident to Tiffany, she was told it could not be made public to protect Tiffany's reputation. Despite filing a formal complaint and receiving the mayor's support, the assistant was placed on unpaid medical leave and eventually terminated. A similar issue arose with Dwayne Thrash, Tiffany's former maintenance manager, who sued the mayor after being fired while on vacation. He claimed he was dismissed for refusing to participate in a scheme led by Tiffany's assistant, which involved firing an attorney and replacing them with a law firm favored by the mayor's aide. During a special meeting of the Thornton Township trustees, Tensions heightened when the meeting was abruptly cancelled. District residents gathered in the Park District meeting room, vocally opposing Tiffany. Her impatient demeanor hinted that her board meetings might spiral into chaos. Although 5 trustees were absent, Tiffany Henyard and the mayor of Dalton addressed the public. Henyard's attempt to call for a special meeting devolved into a one-sided speech where she declared, "I'm here to share updates, but there will be no comments or questions. This is my time to inform you, and if you don't want to listen, feel free to leave." Known for her laid-back approach, Henyard appeared to adopt a more assertive style, using board meetings as a stage for her unique persona. In one particularly memorable instance, she attended a meeting dressed as Nino Brown, the iconic character from New Jack City. This bold choice sparked widespread conversation, with many debating her commitment to her role as mayor. Trustee Kiana Belcher criticized Henyard's unconventional style, suggesting it reinforced the mockery surrounding political discussions. However, Belcher emphasized that attire was not the root of the issue. During a recent hearing, Trustee Carmen accused Henyard of engaging in unethical practices throughout her tenure as supervisor of Thornton Township and mayor of Dalton. In a statement to WGN, Carmen alleged that Henyard had exploited her position over the past 2 years to manipulate residents, employees, and vendors. Carmen accused Henyard of constructing a misleading image of success funded by taxpayers. She admitted she had rarely questioned the extravagant trips and expenses charged to the township, but has since advocated for tighter spending controls and restricted access to credit cards. The challenges involving Tiffany began in August 2019, when CBS 2 Chicago exposed severe conditions at a Section 8 property owned by Tiffany. Issues such as mold infestations and water leaks were so dire that the property was declared uninhabitable by November 2019, forcing tenants to leave. Despite these conditions, Tiffany allegedly continued cashing Section 8 checks. When confronted about the unresolved issues, the matter gained media attention, prompting further investigation into the questionable inspections of her property. In October 2020, Tiffany launched her mayoral campaign, sharply criticizing Mayor Riley Rogers' administration. Her tenacity during the competitive primary surprised many. By April, she won the Democratic nomination and triumphed in the general election, securing 82% of the vote. As the first Black American woman to hold the mayoral office, she was initially celebrated as a trailblazer. However, over time, public sentiment shifted as her carefully crafted image unraveled. It became disheartening to see Black individuals rallying to undermine a Black woman in power. In February, tensions reached a boiling point when Henyard shouted at trustees during a heated meeting, symbolizing the growing unrest over the past year. Tiffany's tenure was marked by significant tensions with members of the village's Board of Trustees, creating a highly volatile environment. Initially, she enjoyed the backing of 2 trustees, Kiana Belcher and Jason House, along with village clerk Allison Koo, who supported her during the early stages. However, this alliance rapidly deteriorated, leading to a rift that facilitated the formation of a coalition within the board. This coalition soon moved to take legal action against Tiffany. The unity among her initial team lasted a mere 6 months before unraveling into chaos. During this turbulent period, her trustees accused her of mismanaging municipal funds, which fueled rumors and led to public doubt about their loyalty. By April 2022, the village board escalated matters by filing a lawsuit against Tiffany, accusing her of corruption and mismanagement of tax revenues. In response, Tiffany adopted a defensive and victimized stance, claiming the allegations were part of a conspiracy orchestrated by the trustees. Her subsequent actions seemed to support this narrative. She locked trustees out of their offices and publicly distributed their confidential documents, violating their privacy and intensifying unrest. As tensions mounted, board meetings became increasingly heated, and it became difficult to take her seriously, regardless of the weight of her words or actions. Residents expressed their disappointment, pointing out how disheartening it was to witness taxpayer money being misused while elderly citizens struggled to meet basic needs. The situation escalated further, with bitter disputes dominating the administration and Tiffany continuing to challenge the allegations against her. In an interview with Fox 32, a local resident voiced frustration, stating that despite overwhelming evidence, Tiffany's actions had left the community disillusioned. Although she initially garnered support, her rapid descent into controversy shattered public confidence within a few months. Even in her absence, residents continued to demand accountability, with many calling for swift and decisive action from law enforcement. The sense of betrayal ran deep, with some even advocating for her immediate arrest. During a public meeting, One resident described the administration as a disgrace and expressed anticipation for its downfall. The allegations against Tiffany included claims of embezzlement, benefiting herself while neglecting the needs of her constituents, leaving many in shock. Ironically, Tiffany was never meant to be Thornton Township supervisor. Following the death of the previous supervisor, the trustees faced a 60-day window to appoint a replacement. The process, which saw Tiffany emerge as the 9th candidate, was fraught with turmoil. After being appointed, Tiffany faced legal scrutiny regarding her nominations to several village positions, including chief of police. A judge issued a temporary restraining order barring her from making such appointments without trustee approval. Her rise to power surprised many, as the decision ultimately rested with the trustees rather than the voters. Tiffany's leadership style quickly came under fire. At her second meeting, she dismissed 2 employees, a Human Resources Department staff member and the former executive assistant to her predecessor. These actions appeared to stem from miscommunication rather than concrete issues. Meanwhile, the trustees raised concerns about the previous administration's extravagant spending, particularly on a retreat at Eaglewood Resort and Spa.
Everybody wants it to continue to be a show and not really show facts as it relates to what's really going on in our township.
And here we go, another contentious night for Tiffany Henyard at the annual Thornton Township meeting. Henyard is Township Supervisor, but tonight she was challenged by board members and the public. She was booed loudly at several points during tonight's meeting. Henyard said it's not fair for residents to ask so many questions in the township when she says they don't ask them in other communities.
Tiffany publicly denounced such spending, declaring her disapproval of using taxpayer funds for personal indulgences. However, her credibility took a hit when it was revealed that she later spent lavishly on renovations for both her mansion and her mother's home, exposing glaring hypocrisy. The public's determination to hold Tiffany accountable grew stronger as frustration mounted. While she occasionally attempted to present convincing defenses, the community began demanding that she face the consequences of her actions. Her ongoing attempts to evade responsibility created complications not only for herself but also for others. This evasion, however, could not last indefinitely, as public awareness of her behavior continued to grow. Tiffany's tenure left a lasting impression on the community, one marked by mistrust and disillusionment. Many residents voiced their belief that her actions had tarnished the community, and calls for accountability have only intensified. It remains to be seen whether she will finally take responsibility or continue to sidestep the consequences of her choices. The individuals Tiffany Henyard was expected to serve have found themselves at the center of controversy surrounding her appointment. Initially, Henyard was not intended to become the Thornton Township supervisor. However, after a lengthy process, the trustees, under the pressure of a rushed 60-day window to appoint a new supervisor following Frank's passing, ultimately selected her. She was the 9th candidate considered for the role, and her appointment has been steeped in controversy ever since. Today, Henyard appeared in court to address allegations that she unlawfully nominated individuals to several village positions, including chief of police. Last month, a judge issued a temporary restraining order prohibiting her from making such appointments without trustee approval. Henyard's appointment to the supervisor role was unexpected, as significant decision-making power in the township rested largely with the trustees, not the voters. While she initially attempted to display steadfast resolve, her actions during her second meeting revealed a different side. During that session, she dismissed 2 employees, one from the Human Resources Department and the other, Frank Zucchi's former executive assistant. These terminations appeared to result from poor communication rather than any specific grievances. Meanwhile, trustees raised concerns about significant spending under the previous administration, particularly regarding a retreat held at Eaglewood Resort and Spa. Henyard voiced her disapproval, declaring, "I fully support the idea of a retreat, but I will not tolerate the use of taxpayer funds for personal luxuries like spa services, which staff members have been using. This is unacceptable. It is a major red flag, and I will not allow it to happen under my supervision." However, public opinion quickly shifted when Henyard failed to uphold her own promises. Despite rejecting the use of taxpayer money for spa luxuries, she went on to make lavish renovations to both her expansive mansion and her mother's home. The hypocrisy of her actions has drawn sharp criticism, with growing calls for her to face accountability. As public sentiment continues to sour, the community eagerly awaits the outcome of these controversies. That concludes the updates for today. Stay tuned for further developments, and we'll see you in the next update.